All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. This video is going to be very irritating, especially to those who are male figures who call themselves men. And I need to speak to this because it seems like no matter how many examples that I put forth and show, no matter how many videos that I make, and no matter what direction I give, people just simply don't get it. So I'm going to make it plain, real plain. And those of you that are wives out there, if your husbands have great gaps in their understanding or they're mentally challenged where they really truly can't comprehend a simple speech, maybe you can sit down and speak to them and maybe get them to try to comprehend and understand what Pastor Dallas is saying. What I'm speaking about is building. Now, most people have two different meanings or a few meanings concerning building. And of course, it's no secret that I'm the head of the Straightway Truth Ministry. And in this ministry right here, I preach and I teach building. And I can't tell you how many times you've seen me hold up my hand to this video camera and try to express and show you and teach you what it means, the labor of thy hand. The one way that you're going to be able to test to see if Yahweh's blessing is upon you is if your hands are blessed with whatever you put it to. Notice, I said whatever you put it to, not what you may think that you know. Because you can't build a nation if everybody is doctors. You can't build a nation if everybody's working at retail. You cannot build a nation, I'm talking about places, homes, for them to dwell in, assemblies, buildings to congregate in, growing food, etc., and so forth and so on. Barns to be able to store stuff in. You can't build a community, and you definitely can't build a nation without someone in there knowing how to build. And believe me, I know how the minds of men think today. What they do is this, is they make excuses, and they're experts at that. And they rationalize everything, you know what I mean? And they you have to really truly pay attention to the excuses of men, because the people who always come up with excuses will produce nothing. And that's letting you know that Yahweh, while you may think that Yahweh's hand is on you, he's not on you. Now, let me give an example. Use me as an excuse. How much would you believe me to be as a preacher if all I did was have a profound word in preaching and teaching, and I demonstrate the power of the Spirit, yet and still, when you come to this community, you cannot see the blessing of the Most High upon the labor of my hands. Let me give you an example. It's obvious that Yeshua was a carpenter. It's obvious that the Apostle Shaul was a tent maker. Now, they had a particular time frame that they were doing all them things. But then when it came time to minister, their life from that point on was put in perils and hazards. I'm going to speak bluntly and try my best to get everybody out there to understand. While everybody is not builders, you do have people that are helpers, and they are trying to apply themselves in that part right there. But listen, I expect anyone that is a leader in the Straightway Ministry at different communities, different home fellowships, I expect for you to be the chief master builder. Because the chief master builder is not just preaching a word and telling everybody else what to do and encouraging everybody in the word and telling them how Yah is and what the blessing of the Most High is and the spiritual power. No, the power is in living and in doing as well. Really. I used to be a soldier, a veteran, 10 years. United States Army paratrooper. I used to jump out of airplanes and rappel out of helicopters. But that's not going to build a community. It's simply not going to do it. Period. Pastor Fox, a retired Special Forces major. He used to jump out of airplanes and rappel out of helicopters and do many, many things. But you can tell that that man is a pastor. You can tell I'm a pastor not because we're able to deliver the word and preach and teach the word. But if you go back and you look at his videos, look at the labor of his hands. That man, not knowing anything, just like Pastor Dow from the very beginning, 20 years ago, he and his wife was able to build a home on their land. And notice, it was him that did it. Now, let me give you an example. When you come to Straightway and you look at Straightway, you need to have this first and foremost in your mind. The chief builders on this community, and it has always been this way, is myself, Pastor Dow, and Elder Douglas Becker. Period. That's it. When you look at this community, these are the chief builders, because without us, one of us, being on the building site, can you imagine what these homes, what these buildings, what the fellowship hall, what the tabernacle would look like if one of us, myself, either one of us, myself or Elder Doug, was not at the building site? Can you imagine? Do you see? Are you beginning to see what I'm saying? Lately, years later, I think that Brother James has been added to us. I think he may have been here on the land 2 years, maybe 3. Brother James comes with a plethora of building knowledge. And Brother James is another builder. So basically, on the community here at Straightway, you're looking at 3 people that after the world, we will be considered chief master builders. And we all have areas where we know how to do things in case the other person is not there. But then we have areas of expertise. And you know what? Not a one of us have papers from the system. Not a one of us have what you call schooling, where somebody actually taught us how to do this. It was a willing of mind, willing of heart, willing of spirit. Now, we have helpers. For instance, there are brethren that are designated to actually go out to work because we're one mind, and they bring the funds in. Watch this. And they not only bring funds in, but when they have time off or when they're not working on their regular job, you know what they do? They assist us in the work, in the labor of this. So I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to give you scripture I'm going to give you Torah scripture for what I'm saying, so that you will know that I'm not talking out the side of my neck. Our problem is that we have a lot of mouth, and especially preachers and teachers, and we want to tell everybody what to do. We want to preach the word to them, but we don't want to labor. We don't really truly want to labor with our hands. And most of us, while we are Israelites in name, but in function, we're really no good at all because we simply don't apply ourselves. Video after video after video, we show you what it's going to take to get it done. I think one of my greatest frustrations is pouring information into people, especially the youth. Pouring information into people, and and while I'm doing this, they are there for the time being. But you can look and see that they really truly don't have a spirit to where they want to retain this knowledge in them, to where they actually want to be able to, where they have a desire to learn this, know this, and then actually go out and do it for themselves. They don't have that. That you can tell. How can you tell afterwards? Because after you teach them, they do no study, they do no research, they do not invest in themselves for the foundation that you have laid and you've given to them, and they simply don't have no time to learn and further the education that you've taught. And I'm to the point that I'm literally sick and tired of just teaching people. I mean, and I'm very discerning nowadays, because I'm not going to waste my time pouring knowledge, pouring wisdom, and pouring understanding into someone, because at the time being, or for the time being, this is what they want to do. that they want to hear this, but in function afterwards, when you watch their footprint and footstep, they have no desire to carry forward. They have no desire to actually build on and learn from what you just got finished giving them. Again, look at it again. This community would not, we've been here 18 years. And everything you see on this community is because there were two chief master builders who learned everything that they ever learned about building on their own. No papers. None of us have a degree in framing. We have no degree in, and neither have we been to any school for concrete work. And yet and still we pass inspections when inspections are called for. None of us have, Elder Douglas have a degree, or he hasn't any schooling where he was an apprentice or a journeyman in electricity. No, he learned it out here. He learned it. He applied himself, and he has sacrificed himself for the greater whole. And no matter how many times I tell people, especially the youth, you're not always going to be young, and especially you men, when you're in your 30s and 40s. You've got an opportunity in a window. My window, Elder Doug's window, and Brother James' window is closing very fast. Our average age is 53 years old. That's average age. And out of the whole entire ministry of Straightway, I don't care what geographical location they're in. This is a reality right here, and I hope you brothers listen to this. Out of all the brethren that we have in this ministry right here, you could not put 50 of them together to build a building from the ground up. And this is what I'm talking about. It's a condition. It's a bad condition. It's a sick condition of the mind. I'll say this again, and let's see if we can comprehend what I'm saying. Let's see if we can somehow cross this line that makes you not comprehend and get it and understand to where you can comprehend and understand. Listen to me very closely. You have to be a doer of this word. You have to. And don't get me wrong. I've labored. Elder Doug has labored as well. Most of you don't know this. We've actually went out and worked on jobs in order to bring funds into this community. You mean to tell me the pastor has done that? You mean to tell me the elder has done that? Yeah, sure. And then you know what we do? We take all the money and resources that we get from labor. We put it right back into our home. That's the reason why that these 40 acres and all the buildings on it, they're ours. There's no mortgage. There's no debt. So you have an opportunity sitting in front of you, because it's obvious that Pastor Dow is not going to be running all over the face of the United States of America, building your communities and building your homes. My window is closing. It's time for me to immerse myself totally into the ministry. Think about this. What would be built in the whole entire ministry of Straightway if myself, Elder Doug, and Brother James stopped building? What would happen? Yeah, see, this is the reality check. This is the defibrillator that needs to be put on the minds in order to get your ass moving. And that's just the reality of it. I told you. I say it again. I never knew how to even hammer a 2x4. I can, you already know I can run down all the things we can do, but let's go see what the Torah has to say. Let's go to, first of all, Deuteronomy 24:19. It says, when thou cuttest down harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahweh thy Elohim may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. See, even when gardening, there are, you're supposed to leave a portion of that garden for the strangers and not just for you only in your own selfish little household. Because if you don't do this, then there's not going to be something, a light bulb that's going to click and turn on that's going to help you to be able to have the work of your hands be blessed. How does community get built? Because the work of our hands are blessed. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? And I'm talking about a great sacrifice. I can tell you all day long that there are many days that we've worked 18-hour days on this community. The men. I'm talking only the men now. Today, meaning you go to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. You claim overtime, and when you get home, you think you've done your job. You think you've done it. I would venture to say, and please try to comprehend, I'm trying to motivate and put strength, power, and energy behind what I'm saying, because the truth is, most of you are going to try to just do the way that the world does. You got an attitude where you go out and labor and work and then pay somebody else to do it. And that is just as nonsensical. It's just literally has never made sense to me. I guess that's the reason why we're not in debt. I guess that's the sole reason. And you are, because you won't change your mindset. You just simply won't do it. You won't apply knowledge. You have a zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. But you think about this for a second. Could you, man, be able to provide a homestead for your family? How are you going to do it with the present mind that you have right now? I'll go back again. I'm not a hypocrite in this. I didn't know anything. You come to my home or my office, you'll see those building books are not just sitting on the shelves. Many of you'll say, I'll say, buy the building books and study them. You know what you do? You'll buy the book and you think that you've accomplished something when you bought the book. But you will not spend a painstaking task to immerse yourself to study. I told you the greatest investment on this earth is investing in yourself. It is. Again, I want y'all to listen to me very closely. Myself, Elder Doug, and Brother James, our window is closing. We are not going to be running around here building up the communities, building up the homesteads for the ministries when some of you are more educated. Matter of fact, myself, Elder Doug, and Brother James, none of us have a degree. None of us have a college degree. Now, we have college, but none of us have college degrees. And don't tell me that we are greater men than you are. The difference is those who are willing to apply themselves. Exodus 35, verse 29. And the children of Israel brought a willing offering unto Yahweh, every man and woman whose heart made them willing to bring for all manner of work, which Yahweh had commanded to be made by the hand of Moses. Yeah, we have brethren here that literally go out and work to bring an offering. But then we have brethren here that not only do that, when they have their days off, they have skills. Yeah, really skills. You see, myself and Elder Doug, we can do every form of gardening that there is on this land. And I'm using us because we've been around here the longest. Now, do we have brethren that have joined us that are now learning? Yeah, sure they are. And then they're going to be in a position to where I can just totally leave them alone. But it takes you applying yourself. Let me give you an example. Teacher Shane. Teacher Shane, he's a mechanic, literally. No, he don't have papers. He don't have government papers. But that brother can fix stuff. As Brother Mike in Ohio, when he came down to visit and his whole entire rear end went out on his SUV. They found and called around at a junkyard to see if they had one. They purchased one. Brother Shane dropped the whole entire rear end and put a whole entire rear end in the vehicle. Can you do that? Can you? Do you have anybody around you that can do that? Or is all you good for is going out and working for the world and bringing Federal Reserve notes in, and when there's time for something to be done, you're going to pay them what you've labored for, when the truth is you're getting ready to be tested to see if Yahweh will bless the works of your hands. You know, again, Brother Shane can weld. The brother can weld. Literally weld. He's a welder. Can you? Brother Shane works. Yeah, Teacher Shane, he works a lot. Boy, does he works a lot. He sure do. Oh, hallelujah. You see, it's amazing. Brother Doug Bell. Brother Doug Bell is a great helper. I mean, a great helper. He goes out here and he works. And boy, does he work. And when on this land, you will never see him idle. Never see him idle when he's not at the job. When we have can you tell you how many times we've had building projects done here in this ministry right here? And you'll see these brothers. They may even have dinner on the table. They'll go home and change, and they'll immediately come on up to assist in the building project. Whether we're there 1 hour or 5 hours, makes no difference. And you know what? They'll go to bed and do it again. You know the reason why? We have an expected end. I have an expected end for this community. I'm saying all this to say, Israel, especially men of Israel, you're going to have to get out of this stupor, this dumbness that you're in. Something is going to have to click. Be you young or old. I'm telling you again, I am not going to be investing time and putting money into a bag with holes that's not going to yield the blessing of the Most High Yah, because I can tell, because your hands are not blessed. Whatever you put your hands to physically, you can't say that, look how Yah will bless me. I have people come here rave about the custom cabinets that they see built all over the place on this land. I mean, literally rave. And many of them will say, you know how much that stuff costs? Yeah, I know how much the building material costs, but we don't have to pay the cost of that labor. I mean, I guarantee you in the addition, just the addition alone, in the dining hall that we have, I guarantee you it would cost you $40,000 to $50,000 for those cabinets. Did I pay that much? No. You know why? Because I built it myself. I applied myself. I don't know. It depends on how you hear. You can hear whatever way you want, but you see, as long as you stuck on the mindset of this world, the way they have trained you, you're never going to be blessed. Let's go on down to another verse. Deuteronomy 30, verse 9. And Yahweh the Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, and as he rejoiced over thy fathers. You hear that? Meaning you have the excuse, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, get your ass out there and learn how to do it. Then you're going to find out if Yahweh has really truly blessed the work of your hands. Are y'all getting this? Are y'all getting this? Do you understand? You're going to find out if the Most High is with you or not when you apply yourself to learn how to do. I've had people tell me, I will say, go do that. I'm not a plumber. I'm not this. I'm not. Well, damn it. What makes you? I'm not any of this. Never have been, especially after world sort. But I do have a willing mind. I do have a willing heart. I do have a willing spirit. And you realize not only we ourselves and our minds are constantly on plenteous and building. Do you realize on this community how many people, male and female, husband, wives, sisters, and children, how many people benefit off the labor and sacrifice of our hands? Do you realize it? Brothers, you're going to listen to me real good. You can buy all the land you want. But if you don't learn how to do this, imagine what your home is going to look like. Or not going to look like. Don't get me wrong. This is not a video of condemnation. This is a video to put a defibrillator on your mind. We better get to stepping. We better get to moving. And that's the truth. Deuteronomy 28:12, and Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in its season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend to many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. We're not borrowing too much of nothing. You hear that? Amazing. I mean, it's all over the place. Again, if you didn't get everything I said before, I'm going to say it again. You can act stupid. You can be mind numb. It's amazing how we're wise to do what we want to do, but when it's time for us to physically inconvenience this body and this mind and apply it and invest in yourself, do something, all of a sudden we're totally oblivious. We're ignorant to it. Our answer is the same answer as the world. Oh, we'll go out and just buy it. We'll go out and buy it. We'll go out and buy it. You wouldn't believe how much you could prosper if you would just test and see if y'all was really dealing with you. See, I don't believe that y'all were just really dealing with someone because they can preach or because they can teach. I want to see the fruit of your hand because I get it from the word. What you see in me, do. Just flat out do. But you're going to have to change your mind. Again, you can have all these occupations in the world, but they will not build a home. They will not build a community. They will not build a ministry. So, when you really truly look at it, how many of you out there really truly have it in your heart to want to apply yourself? I mean, some of you have been listening to me for a long time and you have produced nothing. If I could come to your home right now, after all these years of listening to me, and I said, show me the blessings of the Most High on you by what you have done with your hand. I want to see it. How many of you could really truly show me anything? Yeah, it's a painful truth. And that's the reason why, you can go out here and get caught up in all these false doctrines of these people arguing over who Israel is, what is his name, and all this other junk. People can get behind a camera and they can say words all day long. But let's see the work of your hands. Can you build a home? Can you? Can you build a community? See, people, boy, they fancy themselves as my judges. I got people out here who are knee deep in debt and don't own anything. And because of the Most High's blessing upon me, I have taught people how to get out of debt. And they have blessed me because they're out of debt. And they can't thank me enough. And I say glory to the King for you having ears to hear. I really truly do. And you think I'm going to allow people out here who you can't even peer into their lives and see what they produce, which is nothing but words, contention, and debate? You're going to be able to tell what type of man of Yahweh you are by what you're able to produce. And I'm going to say it again. Your cancer is you're not interested in learning or doing anything because it's too much of an inconvenience to your flesh. I'm telling you. I'll say it again. Pastor Dow, Elder Doug, and Brother James. Our window is closing. It's closing fast. And we're not going to be running around building the communities of Israel. We're at the point now, totally, to where our whole entire life should be about ministering because we have lived this gospel. We've lived it. The proof is in the pudding. You can see it. And we have done this many, many years. We've made all the mistakes for you so that you don't have to. You can benefit from our wisdom and knowledge if you choose to. Am I saying not to work? No, some of you have to work. Some of you have to. You have to work in order to bring in for the whole, in order for the benefit, or in order for the whole to be benefit. But I don't give a lick of credence, respect, or honor to any of these people. All they want to do is run their mouth. And they still stuck in these cities. They just don't get it. I'll say it again. Israel were a shepherd people. You tell me how you're going to tend to sheep, goats, cattle in the city. You see, most people that they really truly have no intention. They still are Gentiles up here, right here in this mindset. And you're not going to see the blessing of Yahweh on their hands because all they want to do is sit down and have Bible studies. That's it. They don't want to get no dirt up on their fingernails and stuff. They don't want to sweat and inconvenience themselves in order for the women and children to be provided for and taken care of. Did you know that as a man, that you cannot command your wife to get out there and work? Now, can she have her own business? Sure. If she wants to, she can work. Yeah, sure she can. There's a lot of things. That's much to be desired. It really, truly is. But some of you are hard-headed as hell. Hard-headed as hell, and you won't get it. We have another brother, Brother Vernon, a great builder. And he's learning even more so. Matter of fact, Brother Vernon is learning how much he don't know. Bless you, Brother Vernon. He's another builder that I would put right in line with myself, Elder Doug, and Brother James. And I've got plans for certain things we're going to do. This is not a condemnation, Israel. This is a reality check. I need to speak words to you because when I just tell you, when I show you, you don't get it. I have people out here, they'll come to GOTS, and Pastor Fox would tell them over and over again, now you need to go home and practice this. They'll go out and buy all the gear that they need in order for a world without rule of law or survival situation, but they never will inconvenience themselves to actually go and start putting a tent up, to learn how to put a tent up. They will never go and spend any time sleeping out in the woods, much less their own backyard. They don't want the experience. The mind of American Gentile is what most of you people who call yourself Israelites, that's what you function after. It really, truly is. I know I've upset some people. And sisters, you're going to be the bridge in this to try to help these men who got brain fog and a cloud or a fart mind or whatever it is that don't get it. You get it. Pastor, I don't like the way you talk. I don't like the way you hear. Now we had a dilemma, ain't we? We had a bad dilemma, aren't we? Again, you're not going to get around. If you really truly are blessed to Yah, you're going to see it in this, not just in this. See, Pastor, I don't only preach, I don't only teach and labor greatly in that, but I live it. And you can tell if blessing of Yah upon me because of the labor of these hands. Hope I said something to stimulate thought. Hope you get it. Hope you learn. Hope you put a defibrillator on it. And hope it actually motivates you. And in times you get back into a rut, because you will, you need to go back and listen to this again. That's the truth. It's true straight way. Some of you, with the path and the road you're going, you ain't going to never produce nothing. I feel sorry for any woman that will want to marry you. I truly do. I feel sorry.